What's good, everybody? Of course, we are live. Definitely give it a couple more minutes until we actually get started with tonight's session. Shout out to everyone that's joining in right now. Definitely let me know if you guys have any questions regarding what you guys are seeing inside the markets with crypto. But if you guys are just brand new into these kind of calls every Tuesday, basically, break down live analysis on the charts with basically the entire cryptocurrency market, regarding, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, all your favorite, altcoins. So this is something that is very, very well needed session for some of you guys. So make sure you guys know something that needs to be on this call. Go ahead and let them know. And without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started with today's session. So basically for BTC, on the higher time frames, I'm really looking to see what happens towards the end of this month. I know we have some potential news gearing up. I know there's been talks about the tariffs. That could definitely be a factor. I know there's been, like, meetings, right, with the White House, with the uh, committee. Um, I've got the name, but I did send inside the chat inside Powerhouse. So there's a lot of things brewing up in the back end as far as regulations with cryptocurrencies, and even now, I'm still heavily bullish on alts. Right now, it's just a matter of everything that's happening with PTC. Even on the chart itself, it shows that it's slowing down, right? Just building up the right amount of pressure for it to just snap like a rubber band. And right now on the smaller time frames, we're just building up liquidity. We're still in trading inside this range here, so we're just waiting for it to just break out of here. Even on the current 4 hour time frame, there's not really much to go off of. Yes, we're still, looks like we're downtrending. There was the previous move here, right? Have you guys seen it? So this was the instrumental candle in which market came back, rejected out of here, and we kind of sold off. This was a nice clear of liquidity for BTC. Liquidity sweep by this institutional buy up before we sold off. Continue on clearing liquidity. So now we're still downtrending for the most part. So if we continue on keeping this overall trend for BTC, then I do see a sell to basically just continue on for the rest of the week. But as of now, was tomorrow Wednesday? So Wednesday, it is the middle of the week, so we should expect some kind of volatility come in with the rest of the market. And I know that Jim Cramer did mention something about some of the biggest tech companies on his Twitter account. I You can go ahead and send them inside the Powerhouse chat. I'll definitely will take a look at them right now. Yeah, because I know as far as sending out like markups, just send it to the chat, and I'll definitely will take a look at them right now. So when it comes to BTC as overall, like, I'm still, we want to see some more continuation to the downside. We're still building liquidity, right? Still building liquidity. As far as any entries, I don't see anything that's clear enough for me to give you guys at this current moment. I haven't even looked at what's news happening with the US dollar or anything that's currently coming up. Let me see here. So Tuesday, Wednesday, what's happening tomorrow? So we do have some news tomorrow, right? FOMC meeting minutes. The Australian Thursday unemployment claims. You got some euro action. You got some, okay, Friday. We got some news. We got some news on. Okay, so pretty much a nice volatile week. So if we continue on trending down lower, yes, you guys can see that we're still building liquidity on the higher end. All right, you see all this here, building liquidity. And there's not really anything here on the smart time frames or anything in here that will signal BTC to go ahead and clear that out as of now. I just see more selling pressure in here, price bunching up before we actually sell off. So whenever I look at charts, I look at what's currently happening on the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, and I definitely notched my way down and seeing what's happening as far as like liquidity. Is price bunching up? Is all like accumulation? Is there, for the example, a lot is currently ranging inside the zone like I previously boxed up. So now the overall intention of the market is neutral at this current moment. And what that's supposed to mean is that it's building up for a move to happen. Maybe it could be tonight, it could be after the session, it could be tomorrow, it could be this week. But we even after this entire drop here, um, this is like a best way to put it as far as all right, cool. We've seen a massive sell off happen beginning of the month, and now BT is just um basically gearing up, or more so, catching his breath. Right? It kind of slows down. You see some like small little volume coming in. I know probably seeing some news where Michael Stater is buying this amount of BTC, which is great. Like you definitely seen his all of his positions, but you may be wondering like, okay, cool. Why if he's buying like millions of dollars of BTC, why isn't price moving? Well, it is definitely could be a matter of as far as how he's buying it or how that transaction is being made. But overall, like BTC is a huge, huge entire market. In order for it to really move drastically, he would need to, of course, dump billions of dollars, in an instant. Especially at this current market cap, like it's what's I'll definitely quickly look at the current market cap. Oh, I do see Nary Banks inside the call. Everyone, of course, going to give a huge shout out for Nary Banks, the one and only. So the current market cap is at 1.3 trillion market cap currently, right? And what I remember briefly from last cycle was, I'm not sure if you guys kind of remember, is whenever Tesla added BTC to his balance sheets, it turned to like one like I think they bought like $1.2 billion or 2.5, some around there. That actually made it an enormous candle to the upside. So now, like, when it comes to these kind of DCA positions that Sailor is taking, if we might not do as much on the market. So as of now, we're still ranging, we're still building liquidity, and we're just waiting for it just to snap. No clear setups yet. So for Ethereum, same thing here. Nothing clear yet. We're still building up all the liquidity. Like actually, for you guys to see that you guys are brand new, brush all this right here is all this liquidity. I personally want to see markets to continue on driving price lower, maybe even potentially just clearing out just a little bit of liquidity before we actually sell off, taking out these lows here for it to actually create some kind of accumulation to the upside. I would feel more comfortable with this kind of setup. What's good, Carlos? And there's a reason why I call this session the crypto playbook because the chart kind of looks like the actual playbook of a football game. With the X's, where the player is going to, the runners, so everything, the wide receivers. So everything's kind of is tailored towards these kind of sessions where, whether you guys understand more of a drawing perspective or the actual tools that are being used. But it is better for me to draw out some examples, live representation of what are some possible scenarios of what could happen and what I've seen in the past has happened, right? Because all of this is just completely just cycles, accumulation, distribution, all these looks the same whenever you guys are looking at the chart of cryptocurrencies every single day. And if you study one, you can study all of them because they all move the same. They all move the same. So I'm not saying that price is gonna react at right at these levels, but this is like some kind of structure that I would want to see in the future. And the reason why I'm looking for sales or some kind of selling opportunity is because we are not in the clear yet. From previous sessions, this is kind of like that worst case scenario. It is from like previous markups from I think was it like last week, I think, or something like that. So there's something that is could be something that could happen, right? So as of now, in the current structure here, I would want to see BTC kind of like drop lower and clear this out. And depending on where Ethereum wants to lean towards to, or BTC, how much it wants to influence the rest of the market and push everything down even further than anticipated, which is something that's not brand new. It's happened where Bitcoin drops, ETH, Solana, the rest of the altcoins will typically would drop more than we have anticipated than before. So whenever that happens, we'll just adjust and see what are some other areas of interest that it can go to. And if a altcoin decides to leave liquidity, but BTC it doesn't, then most likely that liquidity will definitely get swept in the near future. So let's say, for example, Bitcoin has swept everything already, or has close to it, swept everything, has gone to a reasonable zone, but let's say there's still liquidity, a huge liquidity that's very, very noticeable, that still appears on the higher time frames for Ethereum. All right. Can it get swept? There's a very possibility that it will. So that's why I kind of look at the rest of the market. If I see the rest of the altcoins still creating liquidity, then I factor that in as far as all right, cool. What is BTC at right now, and what would be the scenario for it to take that liquidity out for alts, for it to actually do what it needed to do, needed to correct itself, and for it to actually make it move higher. So these are the kind of questions that I'm looking at when I'm scanning through, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, total one, total two, total three, and alt. If all alts says the same thing, then most likely there's a very very high possibility that is gonna continue on clearing that liquidity. So I hope that's making sense for you guys that are here. Tony, you still going to the crypto conference in April? The cruise, because I will be going to that cruise. So if you are as well, I'll be looking forward and seeing you guys there on the cruise. So yeah, I mean, if you guys are inside the chats, inside the cruise chats, I'm in there. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be on there for sure. Wouldn't miss it. It is a cruise. Um, it'll be my first time. I know some of you guys will be your first time. No, Vegas. Okay, so with Vegas, I know with the Bitcoin conference, I know exactly we talking about. So, I since it's really really close to like a lot of the events and that's happening. Most likely I won't, if I'm being completely honest. Just because it's kind of like yes, it's a Bitcoin conference, and even though we kind of got the tickets for free, which is great. You could possibly even if you want to, you go by yourself, but it is kind of more of an experience kind of thing. So Since it is, really close to a lot of the other events that we're gonna have, then probably won't. But the reason why I kind of got those tickets is because just in case there's nothing happening, there's nothing really anything planned for Powerhouse, that could have been like an alternative where that's if there was nothing happening, then we all could have gone. I will be down. I mean, of course, it is Vegas, so next time. So um, yeah, I mean, it's free event, so like you're not really, it's not really hurting your pockets unless you actually go. But it's a free ticket, so it was worth getting it. I haven't even checked the resale, so that could be a nice little flip if they are selling it um for resale. So when it comes to ETH, let me look at ETH real quick. So I already looked at ETH. Look at Solana. Okay, so since you did send out your markups inside the chat, let me see. Let me quickly visit that real quick. Almost forgot. Yes. So I'm gonna go back to that chart for BTC. So if you guys are in the chat, Austin did send that markup. I believe I was looking at the exact same thing, but I missed it. Let's see here. Looking at somewhere in here. Looks like you had a larger, more open stop area, if I'm not mistaken. So you're targeting the 4 hour. Let me look at the 4 hour. Yes, so looking at a much more larger area. So you're risking nine, about like 900 pips, give or take, for that setup. So yeah, I definitely do agree with it. If we do continue on selling, then that would be perfect. There's why, I even saw this right here, and I was not even looking at the charts, which is good, which is fine. Like not really too worried about it. So this was a nice, clear liquidity. You should have kind of buy up, sold off, market came back, retested. I know on some CFD brokers there was a nice instrument candle here that did appear. So um, that's kind of like the odd thing where on TradingView, some brokers will show you guys more of a better picture than other brokers. So it's always good to kind of like look at other charts and just correlate between like the setups you guys have. So but yeah. So right now it's kind of everything is slowly mitigating lower and lower per BTC. If this thing decides to just sweep this, we have this get swept. And then the area which I'm looking at is somewhere around here. 63, see what happens inside there. And then if price fell, then yeah, we're definitely sweeping the 59K. Definitely sweeping this if all of it gets swept. And where price gonna go to next? We'll see. It's kind of like just close your eyes and wait for the market to stop. At this point, good. I wanted to get this taken out. Just for it to continue on um creating that Wyckoff because right now I would want to see something like this. I'm going to delete all this like of accumulation. There we go. Let me see the chat box. Cool. I would want to see Bitcoin do something like this. And we're kind of like, from my current opinion, I definitely do see that we're currently trading in SC already made its low. ST, that's ST. So This is gonna be something that I'm looking closely into. Delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that, delete. Cool. So C T AR. Let's see here. Yes. So you guys are kind of seeing the picture. PS, and then from there, this is that first low that we're looking at. Maybe somewhere in here, probably get, I don't know, ST in phase B. And then possibly like another low, right? The good old dippity dip. This would be the actual spring and test. Oops. Why is it doing this? There we go. Spring. And then probably something like, of course, somewhere inside this area here. So that's something that I'll be looking closely if we were to even like do this kind of um structure. I'm gonna go grab the tool brush. It doesn't have to be completely to a T, right? It just, you know, this kind of like just more of a rough chart here. But yeah, this is something that is very, very um ideal when it comes to this entire accumulation schematic. Cool. Total one. So total one weekly. You can see how we're not in the clear yet. We have liquidity here that need to get taken out. All right. So what are some other possible zones that BTC can lean towards to? I mean, I don't really see anything here inside of the small time frames. Because if you think about it, all this here is just liquidity. So was the best possible scenario, then price can possibly even come back into this zone here. Go right here. So this is something that is something I'm eyeing, where price can come back and trade inside here. So that would be a pretty big drop if that were to happen. So market would need to Bitcoin would need to drop maybe like another 27%, 20% give or take, if that were to happen. I mean, this would just clear the board entirely. This will create massive fear. This was just, a lot of people would you start seeing the people that, oh, like, I told you so, like, we told you that, crypto was gonna die. I guess you're gonna start seeing hearing all that, which is normal. I mean, we've experienced that last cycle. We've experienced these kind of emotions, and we also also experienced them. We've seen them, so everything just supposed to flow according to plan with the chart. So the overall true intention is there. It just matter just waiting and sitting hands and having a kind of action when it comes to either being cash ready, or also waiting on the sidelines, um whether it's perpetuals or leverage. But for the time being, definitely use lower risk on some of these setups, especially since everything's just trading, you know, in these areas here. Like it's not really doing much. So I would definitely be using lower risk as possible. Um, and don't go really too heavy unless you see like some kind of a huge, liquidity sweep, and it just happens just to form some kind of institutional play. But for time being, just use low risk. You should only be risking. Well, me personally, on every setup, I'm always risking like no more than 0.20%. Yeah, 0.20% of each trade. Like probably like the lowest. It always ranges between 12.12 and like 0.19 around there. So is anywhere in that area is kind of like the what I've seen that's been consistent per trade. So if you know those stats, if you know how much you're risking per trade, then you're good. All right. So I've seen inside the chat where like somebody can have a 30% win rate but still be profitable. Well, risk reward. Risk reward is everything. Like especially when you're speaking to like new traders, they want that 90% accuracy, which is possible, which is very very possible. But when you find your edge, you stick to it no matter what. Every trader is differently, so that's the best advice I can give for that. Next thing when it comes to, I really want to look at XRP. No, I want to look at Chainlink. I mean, honestly, just everything across the board is still looking the same. Um, I know there's been a lot of uh partnership. I know Poly Market uses Chainlink. It's powered by Chainlink with their 5 minute time frame trades, or 15 minute time frame trades. So that's pretty cool. So I've been seeing a lot of partnerships, back to back to back to back on Chainlink. Um, another project that's very, very undervalued is AVAX. Let me see real quick. Give me 1 second. Cool. So even with this, what is Polymarket? So Polymarket is a platform where you can bet on basically anything. So this is something that is honestly very, very high in demand. As far as like a lot of people already know about this or will be in the future, just because they've really been. So if you guys were aware of during the election, remember that one platform that the news were covering, that like the poly markets was the only platform that was actually super way ahead of the voting polls than the actual voting polls themselves, like the websites where you can see all the votes are coming in. So this is the platform. So you can trade the news, you can trade what's happening around the world, the Olympics, different things. You can bet on whether it's like the next federal Fed decision in March. You can see all the percentages fluctuate, whether it's 25 for no change. You can also trade the 5 minute up or down, which is something that's brand new. And yeah, like this is something that is pretty interesting to even take part in. So trade the NFL championship for 2027. Like some other things. Will the U.S. confirm the aliens exist before 2027? U.S. Iran nuclear deal before 2027. So there's a lot of different bets you can do. If you're knowledgeable on a certain category, then yeah, I mean you can definitely take advantage on these kind of bets, especially the ones that are either for this year it's worth it. Or even let's say you want to, I see you guys will put this here. It is always constantly changing. So that's what was something I would always recommend is always read the fine print. So the RR not really ideal, but it does. So let's say Bitcoin's price is pushing higher. The up button would decrease as far as the alts, so that being less of a return. But let's say the down will decrease drastically, bettering your alts in return on the amount you want to bet. And of course, it tells you price to beat, current prices. So whether you want to, so the next 4 minutes, if it goes below 67, 637, then you make, let's say you want to do $10. That's your profit. All right. Let's say you want to go up. That's your profit in the next 3 minutes. So the RR, let's say if you're a trader, you understand, R, then it's not really ideal. But if you're a degenerate, then you definitely dip your toes inside here. So hopefully that kind of give you guys more of a better understanding on what poly market is. But it's definitely um, being talked about everywhere. So it's just a betting platform that you can use. You can, deposit crypto, just like anything. I know in order to interact with it, you do need a VPN. To do so, they've been, integrating a lot of, as far as cryptocurrency involvement. So hopefully that kind of give you guys more of a better clarity on what this is. But yeah, uh, let's get back onto the charts. So with AVAX, same thing. I definitely do love AVAX for like a portfolio investment, especially at these levels. I mean, there's not really much you can do. You can like mark up is for AVAX. I know there's like some other charts that look absolutely disgusting where there's not really much to go off of. Let's say, for example, Filecoin. There's not really anything to really go based off of because it's in new lows. So yeah. Um OTC, Pyth, I haven't really looked at Pyth at all. I think I was waiting for some kind of liquidity sweep on this one. Hmm. Okay, so this is one that we actually seen. Okay, I see that. Let me go ahead and put an alert here. Cool. Make more down lower. Interesting. Yeah, I definitely do like this. If we do continue on, if Pyth were to like release some kind of news, this would be the zone. Interesting. Okay. So do you guys have any other questions regarding the markets? I'm looking at OTC real quick. Okay, so with OTC, same thing. I know what was the last halving? I think it was just previous Litecoin halving. Okay, cool. Every 4 years, I think as BTC. When was the last one? Looking here. Let's see if it'll pop up. Because I'm curious. Well, I think it was just recent, like not too long ago. So Litecoin next halving. So it was recent actually. It was at third halving on was around what was that? 2023, third halving event. Current so nope. Next block target. No. Okay, so it doesn't show. I think it was I remember that I've seen the news where it might have been it might have been a while back, to be honest. Countdown, so 1 year left. Hmm. What's the previous one? 26, having dates, 2027. Interesting. So, on to the next thing. Solana, Track, Stacks. I want to look at some of the projects that I haven't looked at in a while. Ton, Sue. Look at Sue. Went absolutely below. Look at Dot, Parcel. So I'm kind of just looking at different charts and seeing what happened. Um, I mean, with current conditions, this got taken out. It's wormhole from that liquidation. BNB, what's happening there? Hmm. OTC. I'm gonna go back to the main charts. E slash BTC. So this is kind of like the chart I've been looking at like basically every week. This kind of really just shows what like the overall dominance between Ethereum over BTC. So currently right now, you can see how the current dominance is here, 10.42%. BTC dominance is over, yes. Go back. So yeah, we're still trading inside here. And for those of you that are brand new, if we see this chart drop lower, then yeah, you definitely will see alts, Ethereum, start performing. And we have a long ways to go. So, I'm gonna look at the chart real quick. Cool. Okay. So next thing that I want to kind of briefly go over, I want to look at the dominant, USDT dominant. So with the USDT dominance, USDT dominance, there you go. This and that is currently like the current picture that I would want to see happen. Some way like this. Just because we have this obvious liquidity, right? Whether we decide to just go above it, clear it out. I don't know what kind of news are going to cause that to happen, but if we do were to push higher, then you definitely will see a drop in Bitcoin. Right. So this kind of has always been like the indicator telling me that investors are still going to be taken out of their assets and converting to USDC into stable coins. So we're still not in the clear yet. So like that is kind of how I really gather that overall I idea that we'll definitely see it maybe BTC drop lower. That's really what I was trying to say. Um, let's see what XRP. Yeah, XRP is definitely. I mean, you guys seen how a lot of influencers were talking about XRP. Certain influencers saying to buy it, at these highs. Me personally, I took profit on XRP. Can it, of course, do another run? Maybe. But overall, like I'm not in currently in XRP yet, but we'll see. Let me see what we guys inside the chat. Look at helium. I'll look at these two, and I'll definitely will wrap up tonight's session. Let's see here. Sheesh. I know Fernando had talked about helium. I mean, we're currently still mining it. Sheesh. Yeah, I know Fernando would have more in-depth detail on what's happening, but it looks like it bounced nicely. As long as we kind of like just trade, get back above IP, like the lowest when it first got launched, then yeah, weekly, daily. Yeah, honestly, this thing would need to just continue on holding these areas for it to just clear out of here. And then possible targets, need target, somewhere in here. We'll see. Somewhere on there. Like that people one of your targets. And then uni, if you take another look at uni, I think I had it on a different I think it was in here. Yeah. So I know some will actually see the actual liquidation candle, some won't. Bitfinex. But yeah, I mean, if we decide to like drop lower, then I would definitely will see the market, for uni sweep below the October 12th liquidation. So around there. But other than that, that is it on my end. I want to thank you guys for hopping on tonight's call. Any questions you guys have, drop inside the Powerhouse chats, and I definitely will get to them as soon as possible. But other than that, hope you guys have a blessed and wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Let's get it.